So I'm learning as I go with some of this stuff. Some of the stuff I understand. Somebody said I should hire a mechanic. You guys, you're clearly new to the channel because that's not really what we usually do. Since on paper I am a mechanic. You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. So there's been a lot of questions, comments, concerns, life, everything on wiring of this truck. Let's just clear some things up. Positive to the frame, yes. Early 70s. Max, there were some other brands that did it. I don't know how many brands did it, but then they switched to negative to the frame. And people said, oh, well, you can run the truck the way it is. It won't matter with the trailer. Okay, let's go over this. The frame is positive, which then means any metal that touches metal, this is positive. You guys are with me, right? So let's go back here. So, this motor, the case is negative. So we might as well not mess around with that, because if I ever switch this truck to something else, it's just going to have a lot of problems. Or this trailer to something else. Because even if I put rubber between there, I would have to get plastic nut, bolts so that it wouldn't transfer the positively charged frame to the negatively charged case. So people are like, oh, you don't have to do it. It's perfectly fine. Okay. So if you put anything that uses the negative ground of the frame or is bolted to the frame that has something electrical to it, it messes everything up. Anybody can complain or argue with me on that, because there's been people that telling me I don't know what I'm doing on some of this. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but we're figuring it out. So, and there's plenty of people that said, oh, switch out this. You don't need 24 volt starter. I do like it. We just got to make sure that that switch never goes bad. That is a new switch in it, which is cool. But as you see, previously we put batteries on both sides. And a lot of good comments about the wiring inside the cab. So we got to swap around the voltage, the fuel gauge, and the blower motor. Otherwise, we should be good. Along with, on here, because it was a negatively charged frame, or positive charged frame, the lights were all negative on the other side. So it just made for such a better convenience of doing it. The positively charged frame, I like the idea of that because it keeps rust from, or keeps corrosion off. But we're gonna do this upright, which means I dropped off all those lines, all those cables, and Chelmsford Electric hooked it up. They spent a day getting this right, so I appreciate you guys getting it right. But we also grabbed something that was sitting in the driveway. Bam! Binkley and Hurst, Brittany sending me the goods. So we got more planter parts, which, as you see, we got those planter parts. I do have some more planter parts on their way. They are coming from Illinois. So I hope they're halfway decent, but I got seed firmers and I got 4 more precision meters because we already had 4. So it just made way more sense to do all new meters. We got the new boxes, which I love them. They look sharp. All of this did bend itself back out from sitting around, so it's getting dirty from just sitting around. But yeah, still gotta get somebody that has good handwriting, put some names on the box. Somebody said airbrush it. I don't know if that would work or not. I guess I'll have to look into it. But on today's episode, let's dive into it now that I've explained what is going on with that trailer, that we got parts, here we go. We got all sorts of goodies now. So, got 2 of these. Why would we need 2 kill switches? Let me explain. So they really hooked it up. I got my black ground wires. This is cool. So this is your charge wire coming from the alternator going back up. And then the other wire that has double, I had them do it up, and it's all cased. And that is your starter wire, or your, I guess it would be your solenoid wire to the 1224 switch. And that is, I don't even remember now. That is your supply wire going across to it too, I believe. Right? Yeah. Yep. So I got a pile of wire now. And somebody already dropped in previous comments of other videos. You need the Anderson connector. We got that. I had them do up the ends. I got 2 ends that are not done because those are the ends that are going to go out to the other end of the trailer. And I got those there. So those are going to the back, but they hooked me up to the point where I guess we'll dive in, we'll do it, and I'll show you what happens at the end. Slide over here. We'll do this side first because my bench is here. $35 for a battery core. It's a crazy world that we're in right now. Alrighty, here's what we got. 2 batteries, 12 volt, side by side. So they will supply 12 volts to this right here. And that, and the negative goes up to there. And that will help it, that will make it go to a 24 volt system when it's actuated power and goes across. So I got the ground wire that goes across, and I got the cables. We'll throw those on. I did draw this out. So put the negative on. Hopefully I got enough space between everything. I should. Take the cap off. I left a little more slack in between, or in the back side of it, just because I knew what was going to happen. Ooh, that is beautiful. Yep. And that will go up to there. That hooks into there. That is, we're cooking with gas now. That's the negative. I almost didn't make it today, so they called me this morning and told me this was all done. But we were down at the high school doing some install work as far as that robot. And it's gonna work okay. And they close at 5, so I had to get out of there at an earlier time so that I could get up there and get this stuff. There we go. Where's the washer? Missing a washer. There it is. So I'm learning as I go with some of this stuff. Some of the stuff I understand. Somebody said I should hire a mechanic. You guys, you're clearly new to the channel because that's not really what we usually do. Since on paper I am a mechanic. So this side, as far as the batteries are done. So we'll just tighten up all these. And then we gotta put the ground up top here. That just grounds everything together. And keep in mind, this does not actually electrify the system. It just electrifies itself. The only time it's applied is when the switch gets power to tell it to activate that then sends 24 volts to the starter. Learning. Had a little help as I was messing around with this, so usually if I'm doing that, I'm not sitting here talking to myself because we're having a conversation or whatnot, but we're in. So here is our 12 volt that helps make 24 off these two batteries. So this one goes right to here, ground goes up to there. This is your wire feed that's going over to the actual starter. This is starter switch, ground, voltage coming across from the alternator that's feeding into there, so it charges those batteries. And then from there, and that one also went down to comes back across over to here. So then from there, positive, negative. My switch idea did not work because I measured wrong on the cord once it wrapped around, but we're right here, so I got to see what I want to do. But it's there for right now. Otherwise, honestly, we got to make this cord longer, which is I'm not yeah. But so we got our, I guess we got to tighten that. We have our supply voltage coming up from the alternator, and then we have our feed going across. We have our missing bolt. Yep. Okay. We have our switch down here. We did everything, so it's all done up now. And if we go in here, I got the cab apart because we got to change those wires around. So if we go in there, I guess I better put the trolley brake up. We got a buzzer that makes noise. We got a truck that starts really nice. So yeah, no air. But our issue now, we gotta wire those correctly. That was easy enough to do the blower motor, so it was backwards. So just unhooked them and swapped them around. So that's good. Gotta figure out the fuel gauge and the voltmeter. Okay, I am battling this voltage meter. Take it out. Negatives in the middle, positives down in the bottom. Okay, I can understand that. That's okay. The problem is, when you do that, this is actually touching positive, which is actually negative. So it doesn't actually work out, because when it's sitting in here, everything else is negative, which is causing this to be negative. But then when you put power to it, it shorts right out. So I don't know if there's such a thing as having it only go one way. Everybody's telling me that. Well, you guys are, some of the comments are real good. And so let's put it on. Negative, positive. I'll flip it around. Okay, we got voltage. The problem is, the second I touch that, the second this is put to negative, then it shorts out everything. So when it's not attached to anything, we're okay. But the second, see, I'll pop this negative off. Yeah. I don't know if that's making any sense. Let me get you guys in a better spot. So struggling along here, because it's got it marked out which one's which. The problem is that if I put negative on anything, so if I put negative on the positive, I don't have it. But I got it on the shaft, which I should not have it on the shaft. Okay, you put negative there, you got your positive down here, it works. But the problem is, this negative is directly attached to the actual house, or this positive is directly attached to the housing. So when you hook the housing back into everything that is surrounded by negative, it does not work because it shorts everything across. Let me see if I can put some... Yeah, it just doesn't work. Figured it out. So, the positive, when you screw it all the way down, it presses against the case that it's actually negatively charged. So it needs a washer or something in between it so it doesn't actually do that. I don't know if that's rubber on the other side or plastic or what. But that is why it is not working. And that's why I'm bouncing my head against the wall. There we go. So that is plastic. Put your plastic washer. I don't know what that one does. But now we're back in business. Put our lock washer. Oh. The negative one up here has a washer. It doesn't need that washer because it's... That's why. So, can you guys see? Yeah, maybe. Let me move this over here. Okay. So, this negative one actually... Put this washer nut back on. This negative one, somebody had taken the washer off the positive and put it on the negative. I wonder if that's what's going on up here too, why I can't get it to work right. So I just had to unthread the negative one because it's actually negatively charged and put it on that one. And then put that back down there. Put that back on there. And that should allow us to have a voltmeter that works. I did order a voltmeter and it's actually there. Voltage gauge, I guess. I guess that doesn't matter because that's going on a lock collar anyways. Let's see what the other one looks like. Just so we have an idea. PAI. Because this one does need a whatchamacallit now. Oh, we got all sorts of goodies. This one does need a light now. But yes, the gauge worked. Ooh, I like that. It's got color. Does this one have color? It's got color too. Oh, this one needs a light anyways. Use the same lights. So that won't help us, but we got a gauge. We got to figure out in the other truck why our gauge doesn't work right. They look very similar. I like it. But now we should be okay. We should be okay. Maybe. Got to put that through first. Yeah, somebody went through extra. Well, it was manufactured this way, but the fact that they put stuff the way they did just doesn't add up well. We got some voltage. Let's see what we got. Is any of this live? That way we know we're not going to get shocked. Everything's negative right now. Let me pop this one off. We should take that light out before we break it like the other one. There we go. Oh, maybe not. Yep. That's a cool little light bulb. We need to get one because we broke the one. Nope. that means the battery's almost dead on that. So we better hurry up. Let's take this off and see what we got. Wonder if this one will be labeled too. That would be cool. Probably not though. Everything is shutting itself off, and it is 9:30 at night. So I'm gonna look up how this is supposed to be wired, what goes where, and we'll call it good for tonight. So I'll kill the battery and we'll get out of here. I'm exhausted. That light is really annoying. I'll see you guys in the morning.